The biggest week of the Komets season begins with another Monday Fun Day. Thanks for watching Inside the Zone. I am Joe Whalen alongside Blake Sebring.
Copyright that?
No, we might have to. We might have to. It is a big week for the Komets. Let's set the landscape for you as the ECHL season begins its final descent. A 4-point lead over Florida for the 8th and final spot in the Eastern Conference postseason. 2 games to play for the Komets, 3 for the Everblades. And Blake, it's pretty simple at this point.
All of them are at home, too. Even simpler. So basically, if Florida doesn't win on Wednesday night, or if the Everblades lose any game in regulation, they're out. If they lose in a shootout or overtime Wednesday night, they're still alive. So they basically have to win all 3, and the Komets lose 2. And then they're in. Then they have a chance. The Komets win the tiebreaker. So basically, if the Everblades lose to Reading, which is red hot right now, in either Friday or Saturday, or Greenville, or on Wednesday or Friday, or Greenville on Saturday, the Komets are in.
So a win by the Komets or a regulation loss by Florida, and the K's secure the playoff spot.
That's for Wednesday. I mean, if Florida wins, yes. Let's just keep it simple. Yes, yes.
And, you know, we were talking to the players after yesterday's 2-1 win at home over Toledo, and the mindset across the board seemed to be, this is what you play for all year, a chance to have your destiny in your own hands.
Yes, and they have had it. They've had it since January, essentially. They really have. I mean, they have, I believe it's now up to the 4th best record in 2014 in the Eastern Conference. So they've played pretty well that way, which is just astonishing when you consider how many goaltenders and how many different players they've used.
Well, they're certainly playing some of their best hockey at the right time. Komets had 4 games last week. They won 3 of them. 6 out of 8 points in this scenario is not bad. The lone loss coming at home on Saturday, 5-2 loss against the Cincinnati team. First loss in regulation against Cincinnati this season, we should add. They've been very good against the Cyclones.
It's kind of weird, and they've been very good against Toledo, too. It's kind of weird how, you know, some teams you just have their number. And, you know, it's so weird because you look at the Komets and they've won at South Carolina, they've won at Florida, they've won at Reading, they've won at Cincinnati, they've won at Kalamazoo. Those are the 5 best teams in the East, maybe. I can't remember. They didn't play Orlando. But it's like they've won all those, and then they come home and they struggle with Toledo and Evansville, and it's like, what is the deal? You know, it doesn't make sense sometimes.
Well, beating the top teams in the conference could bode well for the upcoming playoffs, but getting a little ahead of ourselves, have to lock up the 8th spot first. Let's talk about Sunday's win over Toledo, because the Komets overcame a fantastic effort once again by Hannu Toivonen.
Well, it was his normal effort against the Komets. I mean, he had 50 shots against him 2 weeks ago, and then I think it was 38 this week over there. I mean, he's just a really good goalie. He might have the best glove hand in the league, and he's keeping that team in it and giving those kids confidence.
Well, perhaps Gary Graham put it best afterwards. He said if Toivonen sees the puck, he's going to stop it, but the Komets able to sneak 2 past him. On the other side of the ice, Steven Summerhays, the Notre Dame product, appearing in net, played pretty well. I think the most distinctive thing about him was that golden dome on top of his head. That got a lot of comments. So what did you think of his performance?
He was really good. He plays big. He comes out of the crease. He's not on the goal line. He's challenging shooters. He's just bigger. He has a presence about him. And he gave up that first goal, and it's like, it's hard to imagine a worst first goal to give up as a pro. I mean, pad save. I got to get over here now. You know. I mean, but and give the kid all the credit in the world. He settled down, and he has a short-term memory. I mean, how many times have we been talking this year? The Komets need to get a goalie with a short-term memory, and he definitely has one of those.
Gave up that first goal 22 seconds in. He was solid for the remaining 59 minutes and 38 seconds.
And he made some big saves when he had to. They weren't all exactly pretty, but he made the big save. He kind of reminded me of Nick Boucher that way. Nick Boucher was never the prettiest goalie. He was just the most effective.
And again, you don't want to jump too far ahead right now. It's just one performance, a good performance in a clutch situation. But certainly the Komets have to be thinking, okay, we have a very potentially able-bodied backup here behind Ben Meisner.
Or maybe even a first liner. Who knows? You know, I mean, who knows? You know, Ben looked better he got to play 3 games last week, and he looked better with each game. He looked a little bit more comfortable with each game. So that's good. It'll be interesting to see how they work it this weekend, who plays against who.
Again, following that win yesterday, we were talking to Gary Graham in the post-game press conference, and he said he still thinks this team has a lot of room to improve. You followed up with the obvious question, where do they need to improve?
Well, they got to how many times 3-on-2 do they miss the net, or how many, instead of shooting for a pad, just like the Toledo guy did, to set up the goal, go for that second chance shot, set up your teammates in some ways. How many times have they struggled to get the breakout because the forwards are like, oh, we got the puck, I'm gone, oh, they're supposed to look for me to pass it to? It's like, there's got to be some more consistency, some more efficiency there with helping the defense get the puck out of the zone.
Looking at the bigger picture, the Komets, as we said, have been one of the better teams overall the last month of the season or so here, and certainly they're picking it up at the right time. You can see it on the ice. The confidence is growing with this team each game.
I'm not sure if it's something. I'm not sure if it's the confidence, but I see a lot of tenacity. And I don't mean they're going through and fighting through checks. It's like they just are making the little plays. They as the game goes on, they sharpen things up. I mean, the game they lost to Cincinnati, it was 5-2. Well, it was 3-0 going in the third period. And they came back and made it 4-2, and they were really putting the pressure on, and they were creating a lot of chances. It's like they're starting to show more tenacity that way.
Do you think it's a sense of desperation at this point in the year?
I think it's because their coach just kicked the rear end up around their ears between periods. I think that's part of it.
Whatever gets it done.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, guys, even if you think you're ahead of Florida, it's like it'd be nice to get some home wins too. I mean, they had a chance to win 4 in a row for the second time this year at home, and that would have been really nice to see, but it didn't happen. I think that they're 4-1-1 in their last 6, so they're starting to put some things together. I like the way they are competing. I don't like necessarily the style of the way they are competing sometimes, but I like the fact that they are competing and they're not giving up the goal, and then it takes them 10 minutes to get one. They were responding more now. They're getting the next goal then. I mean, they're doing better that way.